Welcome to the ScreenCrush Break Room. I'm Ryan Airy, and this is all of the Easter eggs, references, and little things that you might have missed in The Bad Batch, Episode 7. The episode is titled Battle Scars, which has a few different meanings. One, it refers to Rex's literal battle scars.
You're a Generation 1.
How'd you know that?
From the lines on your face.
At the end of the episode, Rex takes a long look at his helmet, looking at the marks and scars carved into it by war. The planet Braca also shows battle scars, with its surface marked up by the relics of war. But the title mostly refers to Omega, who has psychological battle scars after this episode. Every child's worst nightmare is being betrayed by an adult they trust. And in this episode, Omega had to face this fear head on. Last episode tested her physical fitness in battle. This episode tests her mental fitness. In the episode's opening chase, Omega says,
"Stay calm, you're scaring her!"
Again hinting that she could be empathic and force sensitive. I really thought this would be the episode where that's revealed for reasons that I'll talk about later on. They're being chased by a group called the Rokai, who we haven't seen in Star Wars before, so it's time to fire up a new Wikipedia entry. Because we keep going back to the same planet for the past 3 episodes, I'm going to be repeating a few Easter eggs. I know it's repetitive for some of you, but every episode might have a new viewer, so I gotta run through these. I'll try to be brief. They're working for Sid, who is a Transdoshan like Bosk the Bounty Hunter, and she's voiced by Rhea Perlman, Carla from Cheers. This machine in the background is called Lucky Shot. The drink dispenser at the bar are the same ones we see in A New Hope that are made from the heads of IG droids, a warning to all droids who try to enter.
We don't serve their kind here.
What?
In the bar, we've got the regulars, Ketch and Bolo, a Weequay and an Ithorian. They're playing a game that's not the holo chess game Dejarik that we saw in A New Hope, though this creature does look like a Mantelian Savrip, the creature that eats R2's piece in that movie. Elsewhere in the bar, talking to Rex, there's a Godel like we first saw in the New Hope Cantina, and a Feline, a species that we also see in the market. Or maybe this blue guy could be a Chiss like Grand Admiral Thrawn. Thrawn confirmed. The Arabesh writing on this wall says bulk meat packing. Now, because it's all worn off, it makes me think that it's been here longer than the bar, meaning that Sid took up residence in an old meat-packing warehouse. Hipster. Omega and Wrecker are eating a candy called Mantel Mix, named after this planet, Ord Mantell, which was first name-dropped by Han Solo in Empire Strikes Back.
Well, the bounty hunter we ran into when Ord Mantell changed my mind.
Rex reveals himself with the Star Wars hood reveal, just like we saw in A New Hope. Phantom Menace again, and you get the idea. In case you haven't seen much of the Clone Wars or want a refresher, Rex was the clone who served under Anakin and his Padawan Ahsoka Tano in the 501st Legion. When the war ended, Ahsoka was able to remove his control chip and the two of them escaped Order 66. And it turns out he was the mystery person that the Martez sisters were speaking to. Now this isn't too big of a surprise since Ahsoka is their common friend. And Rex was also mentioned in Episode 2.
Rex told us about the clone troopers turning against the Jedi. You talked to Rex?
Now I'm going to talk about Rex's new life and mission a little later in the video, and I want to know what you think down in the comments. Live action Rex spinoff, anyone? Like I mentioned earlier, Omega is able to see that Rex is a Generation 1 clone, force sensitive, and this is true. Rex fought in the Battle of Geonosis, as confirmed in the Star Wars Rebels episode Battle Scars.
How's it feel to be back, Rex?
Honestly, I was hoping I'd never have to come back to this dust bowl.
Rex says,
I've seen what happens when the chip activates, and I don't want to bury any more of our brothers.
And he's referring to the finale of the Clone Wars, which was one of the best Star Wars episodes of anything ever. We finally get to deal with Wrecker's chip after it's been teased for several episodes. They did a nice job establishing the ticking clock.
The parietal and temporal intersection.
Get that away from me!
But honestly, I expected the stakes to be just a bit higher, like there would be enemies at the gates trying to get in while they were also fighting off Wrecker. I mean, then again, that's pretty much what happens in the Clone Wars finale. Either way, I'm happy the chip situation has been dealt with.
Grab a chip. Want a chip?
They also say,
Not mine. I don't have an inhibitor chip.
Because remember, Omega is not a clone commissioned by the Empire, that we know of. She was never built to be a soldier. She's a special secret project the Kaminoans are keeping secret from the Imperial military.
We must be cautious. Until the Empire's intentions are made clear, say nothing.
because she's force sensitive. The junkyard planet they visit is called Bracca. This is the same planet where former Padawan Cal Kestis is hiding out at the beginning of Jedi Fallen Order. Now that game takes place just 3 years after the Clone Wars ended, so it's possible that Cal was on Bracca during this episode. I'm actually surprised they didn't run across him so he could help find Wrecker's chip like Ashoka did for Rex. Or maybe we'll see him in the next episode and he'll see Omega and be like, oh, I thought I was the only Padawan left. The Force is strong with you. And then she'll be like, what's the Force? I don't know, what do you think? Are you down for a Cal Kestis cameo? Let me know down in the comments. The people on this skiff are the Scrapper Guild, a group that Cal works for in Fallen Order. It's... Oh, buddy. Here, I got you. Oh, oh no, oh god, my cats.
One eternity later.
Oh, okay. Come here, buddy, it's okay. Calm down.
Who's speaking?
So what happened there is my cat was making biscuits into a pillow, and he got caught, and then I chased him around and get his claw out the pillow. That's what happened there. This is a picture of my cat. Moving on.
Finally!
The people on this skiff are the Scrapper Guild, a group that Cal works for in Fallen Order. Now, it's interesting how so many trades in Star Wars are divided up into trade unions and guilds. This is much like medieval Europe, where one would apprentice with a master for years for the right to join a guild that controlled a particular industry. Like I always say, Star Wars works best when they take something old, medieval guild structures, and mix it with space stuff. Pew pew! Rex's ship is a BTLB Y-Wing starfighter, a precursor to the Rebel Y-Wings, the most useless ship in any Death Star run. Rex name drops Fives.
Fives tried to warn me about the chips.
He's talking about the events from the Season 6 arc Clone Conspiracy, when a clone trooper named Tup killed a Jedi after his chip malfunctioned. Tup's credo,
Good soldiers follow orders.
is repeated by Wrecker in this episode.
Good soldiers follow orders.
Then Wrecker gets attacked by a Dianaga, the same species that attacked Luke and the trash compactor in A New Hope. These monsters are like space dumpster divers. They stow away on trash barges and feed off anything organic in a junkyard. Rex mentions clankers, the clone's nickname for droids that we heard all through the Clone Wars. When they finally reach the med lab, we see the symbol of the Old Republic. Now, by the second episode of The Bad Batch, this has already been replaced by the Imperial crest that we saw in the original trilogy. Now, in Episode 7 of the Clone Wars, this device is not able to see the chip. Then Ahsoka uses the Force to unmask it.
I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me.
So you might be wondering, why do they have such an easy time here? Well, Tech explains,
Since Rex's chip was removed, I am able to establish a baseline by comparing his brain scan to ours.
so they were able to find the chip because they had a clean scan to work from, I guess. During the scan, these Arabesh letters say active scan, which is pretty boring. Just once I want these letters to say something like, hi mom, or The Simpsons sucked after season 9. Rex says,
You boys got lucky. Very few clones were immune to the effects of Order 66.
now what other clones could be immune? I'm guessing he's talking about Wolf and Gregor. In Star Wars Rebels, we meet an elderly Rex living a cozy life of retirement with these two other clones. He says,
Wolf, Gregor, and I all removed our control chips.
but we never find out how. I'm guessing they were defective and then they were removed as a precaution. They also recount the events from Episode 1 on planet Kalar, when the clones killed Master Deepa Bulba, but the Bad Batch helped a young Kanan Jarrus escape. I was glad that Tech at least acknowledged the chips and that he thought they weren't a threat.
If you're concerned about the so-called inhibitor chips, don't be. Our deviant nature appears to have impeded their functionality, except in Crosshair.
Because for several episodes it was getting frustrating that they didn't connect that Wrecker's headaches were part of the mind control chip that was inside of all of their brains.
Coming! And bring the others!
Well, y'all heard the man. Come on.
Yes, Ray?
And when Wrecker's chip is activated, he name drops Order 66. You know what that is. When they fight Rex, they use the stun setting on their blasters as we first saw in A New Hope.
There's one. Set for stun.
Was anyone else wondering, like, what if Wrecker comes out of this thing super smart? Hello, chaps. Shall we be killing things today? What?
Talk a little bit about what's going on in this room, because I think there are some fascinating ramifications here for the future.
At the end of the episode, Rex is speaking to someone on his comlink. I've got a couple ideas. The most obvious person is Ahsoka Tano. After all, in Star Wars Rebels, it's revealed that she's been a covert operative connecting various rebel cells together. But hold on. The novel Ahsoka tells us that she actually spent a few years in hiding before she started to fight the Empire. Also, when Rex and Ahsoka are reunited, it's implied that they haven't seen each other since the war.
You got old.
Had to happen sometime, Rex.
Now this could also be another early founder of the rebellion, like Mon Mothma or Bail Organa, but I doubt it. In the early days of the Empire, they weren't ready to take up arms just yet. In a Revenge of the Sith deleted scene, they describe how they're not willing to turn to violence.
We cannot let this turn into another war.
Absolutely, that is the last thing we want.
We are hoping to form an alliance in the Senate to stop the Chancellor from further subverting the Constitution. That's all.
And in Rogue One, they initially vote against taking military action.
Without the full support of the Council, the odds are too great.
This could also be another Jedi. Numerous Jedi survived Order 66. Most were hunted down by Darth Vader or became Sith Inquisitors. But my money once again is on Saw Gerrera. When we first met him, he was an idealistic young freedom fighter on planet Onderon, where he met Rex. After the death of his sister, he was radicalized.
But it's over now. Let's just leave it at that.
In Bad Batch Episode 1, we saw that he's already fighting against the Empire, years before Bail Organa or Mon Mothma. Saul had a reputation as an extremist.
He's been fighting on his own since he broke with the rebellion. His militancy has caused the Alliance a great many problems.
He led a hyper-violent guerrilla war against the Empire for years, and by the time we see him in Star Wars Rebels and Rogue One, these decades of fighting have taken a physical toll on him. So it makes the most sense for Rex to be speaking with Saul. But here's the thing. When we meet Rex in Star Wars Rebels, he's retired. He and a couple other clones are chilling in the desert fishing for sandworms. So some event causes him to abandon the fight against the Empire. Maybe his accelerated aging made fighting too hard, or maybe he was turned off by Saw Gerrera's extremist tactics. And it makes sense that he would still want to continue this fight, because he's the only clone who ends up joining the rebellion. He saw what the Empire did to his fellow clones, and he wants revenge. And remember, Rex made it all the way to the end. He's this old man at the Battle of Endor, the battle where he defeated the Empire and finally got justice for his fallen brothers. Well, that's all the Easter eggs that I found, but if you found any, let me know in the comments below or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.